We'll do some more politics now. And there's been dissenting views after the National Executive Committee NEC of the NPP decided to allow only females to contest incumbent females parliamentarians of the party, and the decision is proving rather unpopular.
The group gathered at the party's headquarters at about 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Their worry was about the proposal adopted by the National Executive Committee, which included allowing only females to contest sitting female MPs' seats.
I must say that this decision has been slashed on us. No consultation has been made. We are the custodians of the various constituencies. So why were we not consulted first? So that we can gradually talk to our people and test the sentiments of the people before such a decision.
They allege the decision will unduly keep non-performing female MPs in office.
Parliamentary primary should be an open for all people, so that anybody who goes to the premise and wins, the party can rely behind the person.
If they even want more women in parliament, that doesn't mean we want women just for women. We want women who understand politics, who understands the work that we are doing. Our MP doesn't do the work at all. She doesn't go to funerals. She doesn't go to adoring. She doesn't do anything. When we are doing this cleanup exercise, she doesn't come at all. She doesn't do anything.
Right, and that very MP, Ursula Owusu, who's the MP for Ablikuma West, she joins me on the phone line. Very good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah. First of all, I want to pick your thoughts on the decision by NEC to allow females, incumbent MPs, not to be challenged.
Why should they leave it at a normal meeting?
Hello?
Yes. Good. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. I'm in a meeting, so you would have to excuse me if there's background noise on this.
Absolutely.
But thank you to your viewers. I have been involved in the struggle for women's rights and greater inclusion of women and participation of women in political life for 25 years now. I just want to make that statement so nobody would misinterpret what I am saying as personal interest.
Absolutely.
At this particular point in time, I wish I were not even an MP so that I could speak without any cloud on my comments, and nobody would say that I am doing this for personal gain. Now, for over 25 years, we've been involved in this issue. Everything that has been done to improve the numbers of women participating in public life appears not to have worked in this country, particularly because of the parochial nature of our extreme paternalistic nature of our politicking, which is bent in favor of men. So we've done advocacy, we've done public education, we've done sensitization. Nothing seems to have worked, and people, the female representation still hovers around 10%. It is not good for a country which prides itself as being at the forefront of women's of political life on the continent. So what I would urge all to do is to listen to what the NPP is trying to do dispassionately. We need to take decisive action to improve the participation of women in public life. It is a very sad reflection on Ghana that at this particular point in our life, we can't even boast of 20% of women in Parliament. During the discussion on the intestate succession bill, apart from 2 or 3 women who were speaking in favor of the amendments, the overwhelming majority of the men, they were against it. And the Speaker was compelled to withdraw this bill and send it back to committee, which is like Siberia. I don't think it will ever see the light of day again. We need to have a critical mass of women in Parliament to be able to pass the legislation and take the decisions which will benefit the women of this country. Others, we stood on others' shoulders to get this far. I remember the Kuyapwenye years, the Dorcas Koka Pierce, Emilia Japons, who have fought all their lives to ensure that at least we will get this far. Young women are looking up to us to also stand on our shoulders and do even more. How are we going to ensure that we will get more women in public life if we don't take the deliberate decisions that are needed? The NPP ought to be applauded for this. Women-only shortlists are applied across the world. The Labour Party in England applies women-only shortlist. So only women are eligible to contest for certain seats. And they have the largest number of women in the House of Commons. It is working. The Conservative Party is also trying to implement a similar policy. This is affirmative action, positive discrimination. And everywhere in the world where there are disadvantaged groups, you take deliberate steps to improve their access to credit, to education, to health, to housing, to politics. It's what is called equal opportunities legislation. We are calling for affirmative action law in this country. Will we stand up and be counted, or will we continue to pay lip service to the struggle? I beg you, those who are opposing it are those who do not want to see women in public life. We should not allow them to drown out the voices of the silent majority who are rooting for more women because they have seen the benefits they have derived from the work of women at all levels.
All right, Ursula,
we've worked too hard.
Yeah, but Ursula, I'm saying that we should do women a favor. You contested. How did that feel, having to unseat someone? You know, you worked hard at campaigning and you won.
How many exceptions are there? Don't use the exceptions to be the rule. How many women can stand the kind of onslaught that I have had to endure in public life? I don't wish it on my worst enemy. I want it to end with this generation of women in politics. Let us make life a little easier for the next generation to also participate fully in the political life of this country, because our nation needs them. You go out and you meet young people who tell you that, madam, I would have loved to do politics, but I can't take these insults. Hey, they were beating you up. I don't want to go through that. And your heart just bleeds. How can we make life a little easier for the next generation? Let all this hardship and struggle and difficulty end with this generation of female politicians. Please. Let us all, I'm urging all parties to emulate what the NPP has done, to send a clear message to all the women in this country that indeed the country appreciates the contribution we have made to make our lives a little easier at all levels. Let us help send this clear message out.
All right, Ursula, I mean, final one. Some are saying, I mean, it's not constitutional. I mean, the NPP is unconstitutional. One, two.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
All right. Is it better?
Yes, it is.
All right. Some are saying it's not constitutional. It's not constitutional. The NPP, what this new rule is saying, is not constitutional.
Oh, so will we also say that SADA is unconstitutional? Spending money to develop the northern belt of this country, is it also unconstitutional? Because yes, it is benefiting some part of the country and not other part of the country. Is SADA unconstitutional? Is the lowering the bar for females to enter the universities unconstitutional? It is the girl child education unit unconstitutional. It's making specific provision for physically challenged unconstitutional.
All right, Esther, your point is well made.
Unconstitutional. If we say they are, then the NPP measure is also unconstitutional. The free education for the North, which will be practicing all this while, is it unconstitutional? These are special measures which have been taken to address peculiar problems which are peculiar to certain parts of this country or certain groups in this country, to ensure that they also come up a little bit. The Millennium Development Goals, which insist on parity in education for all genders and in political participation, also unconstitutional. Let's get the argument straight. These are positive discrimination, affirmative action measures lauded the world over to address measures of inequality, unequal representation, and marginalization and exclusion. They are very much constitutional.
Okay, Ursula, finally, you were personally mentioned in the SOT. The woman says you don't come for funerals. Were you going for funerals before you became an MP? And have you lost touch with your constituents?
Oh, goodness. Just 2 weeks ago, I did 3 funerals on one Saturday.
All right, then.
I do 6 churches most weekends in my constituency. I don't know where they were expecting to see me that they didn't see me.
All right,
I have been everywhere.
Thank you
maybe
so much.
They rather have lost touch with the real needs of the people in the constituency. I'm very much in touch with what's going on in my constituency.
All right, thank you very much. Ursula is the MP for Ablekuma West.